Today, Beach has ginger ale,
I got bread.
and Heather has banana bread.
You got it all over the screen page.
Yeah, really. Pop. That's why we don't allow untapped, untopped, uncontained vessels here on the ChillPoint bus.
We don't allow people to just hold liquid in their hands.
Yeah. Just be like, would you like some sauce?
So I have some water.
Made it with my own.
Hey everybody, welcome to the ChillPoint / mukbang stream, I guess. Where we talk about video game news of the week and eat things.
Every time we do a positive story, I get to have a bite. Let's hope I don't starve this stream.
This won't be too bad. So, if you, unfortunately, there wasn't a checkpoint this week. So if you're looking for it on, if you tried to do the homework just before we went online and were frantically looking for the checkpoint that was on the YouTube channel, it is not there.
So consider this a seminar, I guess, as opposed to a lecture where you had to come prepared. Yeah.
I did write a community post on our YouTube channel.
Ooh, nice.
To let people know this time around, and there were more responses on that than I expected. So I guess it was useful.
We're gonna have to hard work that YouTube channel a lot more.
Hey.
That's great. If
You're doing a good job.
I did a great job on that post.
That place very
I
clean.
even double checked it and still posted it with a typo and had to go edit it again.
Them's the breaks.
Look, the YouTube community post system sucks.
Yeah, well,
It's not a good system.
YouTube
It's
is-
slightly better now because they let me schedule posts, which
YouTube
they
is-
didn't before, which is dumb, but it still sucks.
YouTube is for clips of The Simpsons and ultra right wing.
There's the Simpsons?
The Simpsons. Yeah, and ultra right wing nationalist rants and screeds and shit. So
And us.
and we're there too. So
Good company. So yeah, but that is actually a good point. If you want to see stuff, there's make sure you're looking at the YouTube channels.
Also, if you're a YouTube member, you go to
Plural.
the community page, you'll see the Ask Laura question posts.
That's
Which,
true.
if you went there and you're not a YouTube member, you'll see that they're invisible because you won't see them. They're ghosts. If you want to see ghosts, become a YouTube member on youtube.com/loadingreadyrun. Just in our community page. No
pay the
ghosts
money and
anywhere
you can
else.
see ghosts.
Ghosts of, except for those people, they won't be ghosts. They'll actually see them. They will be corporeal.
There'll be posts.
Just because you can see the ghosts doesn't make ghosts not ghosts.
Are ghosts also technically posts because they're what you see after somebody dies?
I don't know, man. I don't even know what we're talking about. At the
No,
moment.
I got lost.
My toothpaste renders me unable to taste things at this point, so I brush too early. 1:30 in the afternoon.
How long does
Brush too deeply, too early. Who knows what you unleashed?
How long of the brushing? How long of a time after you brush before you can taste again?
I think it's maybe just my tongue. I can taste food. Like,
Are you brushing your tongue?
No, I'm not saying like I have like I'm weird post-COVID or anything. I'm just saying that I can taste the flavor of my toothpaste more than I can taste the flavor of this ginger ale, and yet I know that this is ginger ale. It's not like some sort of weird LaCroix that somebody slipped me. Like
Ginger LaCroix would be interesting.
Yeah, it checks out.
right? It's taken the taver. It's taken the flavor and turned it. It's taken the flavor and turned it.
Are you okay?
Release. Anyway.
Okay, well then. Welcome to ChillPoint.
We're extra chill today.
I think that's the third time you said that, Paul.
Yeah.
I know you're trying to get going here.
Trying to get
We're
going.
not helping.
Where we talk about some video game news and also other things sometimes. So we didn't have the episode of CheckPoint for this week. But as I would say, even if we didn't have any episodes of even if I didn't have episodes of CheckPoint, I would still be looking and marking at stories because I've been doing that for 10 years. Or
Old
how-
habits, right?
Yeah.
It's like shopping for printers.
So let's talk about some of the things that happened last week. Starting with Elden Ring it's becoming a less and less valuable proposition to buy as time goes on.
Right.
I mean, it started out as like we're talking like 60 hour, 40 hours, 60 hours to play the thing. Lots of time, the Play It Forward guys have been played it for a really long time. And then, people were getting it down to beating it in like 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
People were getting down to beating it in 1 hour. People half an hour of gameplay for like 60 or 70, $80, right? Like that's not a very good deal. Well, it's down to 9 minutes.
How about that?
But how many hours
Like,
did
there's
it take them to get it down to
There's
9
little
minutes?
little
I don't
indie
think-
games that are longer than
I don't-
9 minutes
True.
I don't know if
for
you
free
can-
on like itch.io.
I mean,
Yeah. Oh wait, are we down to 6.5 minutes now?
Oh, good.
well, our story is about 9 minutes.
So this is the 9 minute no. This is even no fighting.
Yeah.
It's a pacifist game.
You don't got time to fight if you only got 9 minutes.
You can literally finish Elden Ring in the time it takes us to start ChillPoint.
You can finish,
If you had started ChillPoint you had started Elden Ring when we went online, you'd be done by now.
you can finish a lot of things before we actually start ChillPoint. To be clear.
So yeah, we're at the point with speedrunning, where so not only have they, because that's how they do, that's how these speedruns often work, right? Is like the first step is, just going through the game as quickly as possible and figuring out all the strategies to beat the bosses as quickly as possible. Then you figure out how many like bosses and things you can skip.
Right.
Yeah, like I said, there's a lot of work that goes into finding that 9
then-
minutes.
Well, yeah, and then you figure out,
Or 6.5.
and then you figure out all the ways that you can use. Then you start looking at like glitches, and that's how we've gotten down to this 9 minutes, or apparently somebody said 6.5 minutes now. And so basically, it like the video is kind of bonkers because it makes no sense. Like it has to be explained because basically the guy goes and just shoots like 5 miles ahead. Foot drops to the ground and then sits there again and goes. And then boosh. It's basically you have to be on a specific frame of his animation
Ah,
and then
okay.
hit a button at a certain time and something goes messy and you shoot super far fast forward.
The slight movement is trying to
It's
to nail into that.
Yeah, it's something to do with like the idle animation. And so
Okay.
you have to stay in one spot for like a certain amount of time and hit it right at the
Oh, okay.
Apparently people speedrunners actually will have like a metronome
Ah, that's
beside them
good.
because they have to hit it at like exactly the right frame.
I like that.
I
That's
didn't,
good.
Man, anytime I've seen anyone
Oh,
play
it's
this
the
game,
the blocking animation.
they're always
Yeah.
moving. I didn't even think there would be idle animations in this game. Now I'm curious. I'm gonna have to look that up later.
Well, it's a blocking animation, so it's like
Huh.
if you're doing the thing and there's an animation involved, I guess, in doing
But
it.
but they have to like hold it for a certain amount of time and then let it go. So the thing looks weird because he's just like standing there not doing a thing, and then he shoots forward and into the sky, and then there's also warps you could do where you get on your horse and the horse does a whole thing.
So, as I understand it, the idea is you warp enough. Because okay, all you're doing though is warping. You can't it's not like Mario. You don't warp to the end of the game and meet the princess.
Well,
you warp many times, right?
but we're because it's an open world game. Though,
Yeah.
you can just go past where the thing is
Yeah,
to go into the
because
boss.
there's supposed to be like boss fights that are essentially a way of blocking you into another area, right?
Sure.
So you need to defeat that. So if you can just sonic speed past them.
So my understanding of how this
Good,
worked,
right?
or one of okay, maybe this is a different one because the one that I heard was they warped themselves so much that they broke their way out of like the game, and the game was like, oh well, I don't have to load any of the scenery, I don't have to load any of the levels and stuff because you can't see it, so it would make it all disappear, despite the fact that you were like you're in like an XY position that would have allowed you to do it, and when all that stuff disappeared. Then the final boss just fell to its death into the sub-ocean, and the game is like, oh, well, that's a death. And then it takes you to the credits.
Is
it different now?
No, that sounds like one of the... That sounds like what they do, yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, like as Decapped in the chat is saying, yeah, it's 139... So it's actually dependent on... It's the warp is different depending on whether you're playing 30 frames a second or 60 frames a second.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, no, that would make sense.
And
if
so
a
it's actually
frame-per-second thing.
dependent on what frame. So yeah, 139 frames. You hit it, and you know, I can imagine. I love the idea that somebody was just like playing the game normally, and happened to hit it right at the right frame, and it was just like, what the.
Oh, it bugged out. It glitched.
Well, I mean, that's how a lot of glitches get found, right? That's also like where that weird. What was it? That was it. Mario 64 with the speck of something hitting.
Oh right,
hitting
the like cosmic ray that hit a thing.
Yeah.
that nobody
so
could
it's not
replicate.
replicated. You can't replicate it.
Yeah, but then when they like simulated what would have happened if that had happened, and they're like, oh, that is exactly what happened to this dude. Okay, it was it was a gamma radiation.
So, but the trick with this skip or these zips, I guess they're called, is that they're obviously you have to be very particular about how you do it. Otherwise, you could very easily shoot off into empty space or shoot off over a cliff and die and fall and stuff.
This is
and
why
so
I don't glitch in real life. I
and
don't
there's
want to accidentally
very-
fall off a cliff.
very precise so that you can go to like the different areas. Anyway,
You imagine being Sonic the Hedgehog and constantly never getting to the right spot because you're still learning your speed legs and you're just falling off of cliffs everywhere. Like
That's like every time I played Sonic the Hedgehog.
it's an actual hazard.
speaking of Sonic the Hedgehog,
Oh yeah.
if there's a sort of a new Sonic the Hedgehog game,
What do you mean by sorta?
well, it's a game called Sonic Speed Simulator,
That doesn't sound like a Sonic
and
game.
it's coming out for Roblox,
That's definitely not a Sonic game.
which is
And it's licensed.
yes, this is official. It's coming out on Roblox for free. It came out today.
What day is
14th?
today?
No,
It's the
yesterday.
15th.
Came out yesterday. For free on Roblox. It's open world. It's a multiplayer thing where you play as either your Roblox avatar, or you can like unlock actual like Sonic and Tails and stuff, and like actual. It's weird because like Roblox things tend to be, you've got your little man who's sort of looks kind of like a Lego person, like it's all sort of blocky and stuff. But like the Sonic and Tails and Knuckles and stuff are like the actual models
Yeah, they
from
look,
the 3D
they look really
games.
smooth. They don't look blocky at all.
And you basically you go through this place and you collect gems or crystals and rings and stuff, and each thing that you collect makes you go faster and faster and faster, and then you can like do races and stuff. So it's not like a full sort of game or a full like traditional Sonic game. It's more like you can race against each other and stuff. Although apparently they're going to be like adding bosses and things.
Oh, neat.
I mean, the Sonic stuff has been really, I don't want to say aggressive, but kind of like everywhere, because they also added stuff into Minecraft.
Well, because it's
and like just different.
because there's
because
the
of
like
anniversary thing.
there's the anniversary and then also the movie.
Yes,
Yeah.
but you don't understand. I'm used to Nintendo anniversaries where they promise to do things and then maybe they give us Luigi rides the L train and like one game.
But I wanted
This is
to
unusual for me.
I wanted to show you what this looked like.
Yes, please.
Because, like, to be honest, and this is a version. This is running on the mobile.
This just seems like a Sonic 3D game.
Wait, let's show it at full quality.
Oh my
It
god.
looks a lot better.
Yeah.
But this is running on the like Roblox mobile client or whatever, and it's like this looks better than a lot of the attempts at Sonic 3D games, and this is in Roblox. Like Roblox is, I was saying to Heather, Roblox is like one of those games, programs, things. Oh, no, we don't want to
No.
sign up for this. Go back to here. Anyway. It's one of those games where like I feel like I don't really. It's kind of, I guess, a little bit like Fortnite. Like whenever I read stories about it, I'm like, this is a different thing than I thought it was. There seems to be more going on in this thing than I'm used to. But anyway,
yeah.
I actually don't know what Roblox is like as a game because the only things I ever hear about it are the bad, scammy bits of it.
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, it's Roblox is sort of a platform. It reminds me a little bit of like, or the way I think like Little Big Planet kind of did it as well,
Yeah.
and stuff like that, where it's like,
It's
yeah,
an
there's
engine for making new stuff.
yeah. And people make stuff. But yeah, so but that looked actually pretty cool.
So I guess you probably shouldn't refer to it as a game engine because people be like, it is strictly not. It is a game construction kit. Like that's probably the better way to think
like
about
Mario Maker.
it. Yeah.
And yeah, and the obviously, like we said, like saying that the most of the reporting that in the times it's been mentioned on CheckPoint has been because of various exploitative practices, both in customers and also in the people who are actually like making the content for it.
Yeah.
The children that are
yeah.
making the content for it.
Which is, but the fact that, but it's just like the fact that it has such a giant user base that it actually is like making content for Roblox is actually like there are multiple companies that's their business is making content for Roblox.
It's
Doesn't make it feel less sketchy to me.
Yeah. It definitely kind of rides along that thing of like, oh, is this Source? Let me make Serious Sam or whatever that is like. Let me make a game. Quake, you say? Well, now it is Half-Life. Like it is this kind of thing of let us make a company based around the idea of I am making a game, but I'm making it on the idea of I'm heavily modding something that already exists.
I thought the first thing that anybody made in anything that allowed you to make another game was generally something from Ocarina of Time. Isn't that the joke? It's like, oh, we made Dreams. It's like, cool, who made Ocarina of Time within Dreams? Like, isn't that always the thing?
That does happen, I think. Yeah, a lot. And people have made some pretty ridiculous. I mean, even I remember like back in for Little Big Planet, people made all sorts of ridiculous things with that too.
That's what I've heard. I didn't really ever play that game, but I wanted to because knitted character is cute.
Little Sack Boys.
Wait, that's his name.
Okay. I marked this just because it sounds so. This actually sounds pretty cool. There's a game coming out, called Paper Cut Mansion by UK-based Space Lizard Studios. It is a roguelite horror game where you navigate through like this like cardboard mansion. It's like
I do like that aesthetic.
It's very papercraft.
Yeah, papercraft style, like Paper Mario. And then you solve like puzzles and going floor. It's procedurally generated, so you can go up stuff. And
play a detective.
Yeah, mostly I noted this as a story because Paper Cut Mansion sounds like the worst roadside attraction. Like that just by itself is like the scariest house of horrors I can think of.
You say it's a horror game, it's like, oh, death by 1,000 paper cuts inside this mansion, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
it's like you don't need to have. It's like other ghosts and stuff. I don't care. Scary, sharp paper is all that's required.
Yeah. Walk through this hallway that gets narrow, and there's a bunch of like flapping pieces of paper and cardboard.
I mean, depending on where you get your paper cut, because like you get the in between the
don't.
webbing on your fingers or anything like that, it's 10 times worse.
So bad.
Gets speech every time.
Ugh.
So the Lego Legos
Minifigs?
the Lego Star Wars the Skywalker Saga, which is the new Lego Star Wars video game that just came out.
I've heard a lot of good things about that one.
Yes, very well reviewed. People seem to be really liking it. And it's the first Lego game in quite a while too, which is also the other fun thing. There's a limited edition deluxe version
Neat.
that comes with an actual Lego figure of Luke drinking blue milk with like a blue milk mustache.
Great. Really heavy blue mustache too. Like, yeah. And this is
Does he have to wink like he's in some sort of commercial?
This is episode 4 Luke Skywalker. This is not like episode 8 Luke Skywalker.
I mean, don't we just call him Anakin at that point?
No, because those are two different people.
Right.
Those are two different people. You watch so much Star Wars.
I know.
You were forced to watch so much Star Wars.
I wanted to purge it from my brain. I like Star Wars. It's
So
fine.
that's super cool, but of course, because as we all know, we can't have nice things.
No.
That's fine.
Other people
It's
have to
just
sell
Star
them to
Wars.
us for an inflated price.
Yeah. So the just the figure by itself, not with the
Game.
not with the game,
Mm-hmm.
just the figure by itself. Apparently, has been going for between there's prices $54, apparently it's gone up to $70.
A minifig?
Yeah, considering it's the deluxe pack or the game is normally $70 and you get the thing for free. Or
as a pack-in?
the game is the regular version of the game is like $60.
Right.
The deluxe version is $70. And you get a bunch of extra stuff as well as this packet thing. So it's like
Okay.
the thing the figure is not worth very much. It's just a just a figure with like a little milk thing.
The thing that, it cost them very little to make in the first place, and if you were to retail it, I'm sure it wouldn't cost more than a standard minifig would anyway. Except it's not available at retail on its own.
One has gone for $140.
Oh. Is this the only Luke Skywalker minifig to exist? Because at this point, I'm
No,
just
but
suggesting
It's
you might want to get into some model painting.
It's with that face, I think, is the issue. I think
Again,
you can get a standard
a little bit of paint.
You can get a standard Luke body, and it's like just that head. I think is the only thing.
Not
that's
the
different.
same.
A little bit of paint.
And I don't know how you get the blue milk thing, but
then you'll know in your heart that wasn't from blue milk.
Yeah,
That
and
was
then
just-
I'll know in my heart that I didn't spend an outlandish amount of money on a tiny piece of plastic.
Also, when Aunt Beru comes to the table, she doesn't come to the table with like a carton of milk or anything like that. She comes to the table like it's a carton is what it looks like. But when she comes to the table with like a juice jug kind of looking thing filled with milk, which makes me think, on Tatooine, does blue milk come in bags?
It's a long walk.
I mean, don't they actually have their own blue cows or whatever that they're actually like milking their things right there?
Don't even see them
It's
doing
like
it.
it's
no.
like fresh blue milk. I don't know.
If it's because in apparently in Star Wars 8, there's a whole scene of Luke taking a hit straight from the udder, and I'm like, I don't remember that. I've seen that movie twice, and I don't remember
That
seeing
wasn't
it
in the remade.
ever happen. It's so weird. I saw it in theaters. I've seen it on Disney Plus. I don't remember ever seeing that scene happen.
But maybe
That's
it's
definitely. I remember that scene. It's definitely in
That's
there.
weird. I don't know what happened. I don't remember seeing it at all.
Is it in the original or is it in the one where they redid things because Lucas can't not touch things forever?
You're saying the special edition of Star Wars 8, The Last Jedi.
Sure.
Animals are just milk bags. No, we are ugly bags of mostly water. Anyway, you have to spend just an ass ton of money
Please,
to get one of these minifigs.
New topic.
They're apparently restocks for the game are, coming out. Like they're restocking the game, but then they're selling out in like less than 30 minutes. So
Oh, that's pretty good for scalpers with a bunch of
They're
bots.
just going to be shucking the games and just throwing out the game and being like, I've got that. Well, I mean, they won't. They'll actually just turn around and be like selling the thing on the whole game on eBay and not saying that the minifig isn't included, I'm sure. Because, hey, if you're already a scalper, you're probably doing some other shitty stuff,
You just
too.
call it a standard edition, probably sell other stuff at, like...
Well, there's other things that are packed in.
Yeah, but you sell those separately.
I guess that's true, yeah.
If you're already selling one thing separately, why wouldn't you sell the other thing separately?
Yeah, it's a fair idea. Well, because they might not sell. Then you're stuck with them.
It won't matter.
all right, the Steam Deck.
Yes, what about it?
The portable console thingy from Valve.
First of its kind. Nobody's ever made a device like this before.
It's true.
The extra
It is
wide
quite-
Game Gear, yes.
It is a quite unique device. It has been quite successful, and people seem to like it, and it's quite powerful. And what's interesting is because of the hardware that's inside it, people have been experimenting with basically what can be unlocked with the hardware inside it, including RDNA2, which is the sort of the basically the custom silicon, the custom chip stuff that's in the Stream Deck has this
Steam Deck.
Steam Deck. I said Stream Deck,
Yes.
didn't I? Steam Deck. It has a AMD compatible RDNA2 core on it, which is that's basically the ray tracing system that the Radeon graphics cards use.
Okay.
And it's not currently enabled because the Stream Deck uses Steam Deck uses Linux as its operating system.
Oh, and there aren't RDNA2 drivers for
And
Linux
yeah,
yet?
the drivers don't work. But people have actually side-loaded Windows
Yeah, because you're supposed to be able to download
Yeah.
Windows onto it.
onto it. And in Windows, there are Windows drivers, and you can actually get this thing running and run. So on this mobile device, you can actually have like ray tracing running in your games,
Nice.
which is pretty cool. The problem is, well, part of the problem is that it's got this hardware for ray tracing in it, but the rest of the hardware is like not the most powerful. So you kind of gotta pull the quality down. It's got all sorts of fancy things that so you can like do it. It's not that high resolution screen though, right? So the experiments that we saw in the thing were like doing it like 540 resolution,
Okay.
but using the fancy upscaling, the like AI upscaling system.
DSLL or
Yeah,
is
yeah,
it
that thing.
DLSS?
DLSS. I can never remember what order the letters go.
So basically, it can make it look like it looks good, even though it's 540 resolution on a 720 resolution screen. It still looks pretty good, and it's got the like ray tracing turned on and
Sorry,
stuff.
chat's saying it's Fidelity FX Super Resolution. DLSS is NVIDIA. Fair.
So basically, there are Linux drivers that support ray tracing, but not within the compatibility system that the Steam Deck is using. Anyway, end result being the Steam Deck has all sorts of interesting, cool capabilities in it that haven't been able to be activated really yet, but theoretically could be turned on in the future. And the side by sides, like especially the side by side of the same game on like an Xbox Series S and the Steam Deck at comparable like sizes as you would be playing it is like very, very similar
Okay.
in terms of quality.
That's good.
Which, considering that it's like this little portable device, is very impressive. So there's all sorts of neat stuff that, and as more games get sort of optimized for it and drivers get optimized and so forth, should be cool. So
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, my understanding about the Steam Deck is it does a lot of stuff very well. Hope you understand Linux. You're gonna need to start understanding Linux if you want to go outside.
yeah,
the,
I mean,
the Steam thing.
at its base level, it's you can just use it as it is and play
Yeah.
Steam games on it and
But
stuff.
but it gets marketed as that thing of
But if
like,
you
oh
wanna
well,
be
you can
fancy
run
with it,
Windows on
yeah.
it, you can do all these things, and it's like, yes, but understand, it's not gonna be quite the console experience of I pull a console out of the box and I just do a few updates and then I know what everything will help me. It's gonna be more the PC experience on that side of things,
It's true,
which
and
is okay. There's nothing wrong with it. Just be prepared for that.
And there is the thing in the Steam app where there's like they're starting to like mark games whether they're like optimized for Steam Deck or not, and so some games might not work very well with it.
It's definitely one of those things where I'm curious to see how it's doing like a year down the line.
Yeah, I mean
We'll see what the
it definitely,
perception changes.
and there definitely could be a thing with Valve, getting bored of it and stopping
Yeah, I mean,
supporting it as much.
there's that, but it's more of I just want like consoles. The whole idea of like the allure of PC gaming is that your PC box is something you can swap stuff out of. A console is more like it's here. Everything is supposed to work on it. That we've told you will work on it. The end. And
This is sort of
it's
trying to
kind
split
of like
the difference.
at what point does this console need to be replaced because computers have upgraded?
Right,
It's kind
yeah.
of where I want to see how this goes and like maybe what people decide to do with it, because you don't need to jailbreak it. You can just do whatever you want with it, right? That's part of the appeal of having one.
That's kind of always been a thing too, right? Within people who play consoles, within the console world, is the idea of at some point you move to a new system and everyone kind of understands that it's like, yes, it has been a certain number of years, so now we do that. And for people who are, if they're primarily PC gaming and they've kind of in this thing of on the constant upgrade cycle, it's like the Steam Deck does not allow you to just start picking and putting parts in and changing that stuff out all the time. You're gonna probably just end up buying a new one in 4 or 5 years.
But
Well,
it
I mean,
but it does allow them to, has the advantage of that console thing of sort of a fixed
Yeah, you have a target.
a fixed target, so that they can be like, yes, this runs well on Steam Deck.
One thing that
They don't have to say like, if you've got X
Yeah.
capabilities.
One thing that I've always really been quite just a lot of admiration for Valve is that despite running Steam, this Windows-centric, a very Windows-centric environment for selling games and doing whatever, is that they've always been like, but can we get them to run on Linux? Like, there's people within the company who are just constantly like, but we want these things to run on Linux, so can we? Because the Steam box, the Steam Link, whatever it was, that was like
Yeah, they always have been very big about pushing Linux compatibility.
yeah.
Probably one of the larger companies that has wanted to do that.
And I've always admired the fact that it's like you guys, like they just keep doing that, and the fact that, because when the Steam Deck was coming in, I'm like, what's this going to be? It's like, oh right, well, I mean, Linux is free, so for them, they just have to make a custom version of Linux to go on here, and or customize a pre-existent distribution and just be like, there, now we don't have to pay money to Microsoft so we can put their thing on our game console. We can basically just make this ourselves and send it out the door. Always really liked that.
Yeah, I just want to see where it goes eventually, right? It's a different.
It's a pseudo console.
It's a different concept of what to do with a console, because it's also again trying to be a PC more than I think of it as a console. And I'm just curious to see where that goes because we haven't really had a lot of that.
Like the Xbox, the original Xbox was at its heart a Pentium 3 PC. That was just very like it had crypto stuff put into it to be like you can only run this software on this PC. Which,
Right.
You know, the Xbox Media Player got around that, but that idea of we made a Pentium 3 PC, put in a box that you can buy for X number of dollars, and yeah, it's like here we are again with this thing of we've made a customized AMD PC that has the built-in joysticks and whatever else. That I'm with you on this. Like the idea of a pseudo console, of a console that's not quite a console, but it's not quite a PC. Like,
and it's not like Valve is the first one to do this.
No.
In the portable space, like Nvidia's made one. We've reported on them on various times, but nobody's had the kind of impact that, and hasn't had the clout to actually get to the point where developers are considering it when they're speccing their game.
I mean, so Valve has the advantage of they have a Steam store and they're working at essentially when this came out, you already have your games that can be on it.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
So,
They've got the sort of
we all
built-in
know when it
thing.
comes to a console, it's the library really that sells the console.
Yeah.
Overall. But where was I going? I've lost my roadmap.
I'm sorry.
Oh no.
Do you want to repeat some of the weird stuff I've been saying? Will that help you?
Nah, it's fine. We can just move on.
I mean,
So-
if you mean that it's like Nintendo has their stuff, and so it's like they make their games and they also make their system and people make for them.
It's like you said other places have made consoles, but all I've ever seen is tech demos. And like this is at GDC. I've never seen any of them go to market.
Yeah,
I mean,
fair.
or if they go to market, it's like very small. Like
Yeah.
this is definitely has had the most sort of penetration of the market.
Like we had rumors about the Steam Deck going on, and I was just like, that's like everybody else who's made one. Tell me when it's launched, and they've launched it. It's been in people's hands. That's good for them.
It's interesting to think about, like in this era we're in now, where the console exclusives isn't that common any, like especially between Xbox and PlayStation. There's only a handful of games that are exclusive to the various consoles.
Generally timed exclusives now for those.
Right, and there'll be timed exclusives. I mean, Switch obviously has the Nintendo first-party stuff, but it's interesting to think of this, if you think of this as a console with to be honest, like tons and tons of console exclusives. Like if you want, for instance, if you want to be able to play like hundreds of visual novels on the go, this device is basically the only thing like.
Well, yes,
Like
because
it really, yeah.
the Vita is dead. So
Yeah. I mean, there's like
the Vita was the visual
iPads
novel
and stuff.
machine.
Yeah.
But like there's a bunch of even like almost whole genres of video games that barely exist on consoles.
Yeah.
And are quite prevalent on Steam. So there's some interesting stuff there. Especially or games that stuff from like itch.io or other sources of things, more independent type games that wouldn't be able to get much of a release on the mainstream consoles. So anyway, cool stuff. So I got to tell you about a game that's coming out,
All right.
and I hope you can understand why I got more and more concerned as I was reading about this game,
no.
which initially seemed like a cool idea.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
It's called Peridot, and you raise little paradots, little creatures
Okay.
that are 100% unique, procedurally and also procedurally generated, and also hand drawn. They're 100% unique, 100% yours.
This is an NFT scam.
It is not.
Holy crap!
Oh,
I was so
wow.
excited about
All right,
this.
cool.
As
Good start.
As I was reading the story, I was like, "When's it gonna say NFTs? When's it
Yeah.
gonna say NFTs?"
Sounds like an NFT thing.
This is in fact a new game coming out from Niantic.
All right, that gives me
Using
middling
it
feelings.
is one of their, I guess, the first game since
Harry Potter's Wizarding whatever.
No, I was gonna say-
Pikmin Bloom's the last one they did.
well, it's the first game with a original IP
Right.
since Ingress.
Oh right, Ingress.
And
Please tell me it doesn't play like Ingress.
no,
Well, it's an AR game.
so this basically seems like a very fancy Tamagotchi is what they're doing.
Yes.
It's
okay.
like, which I'm not saying that that's a bad thing.
No, that's a selling point.
So the Peridot, you grow it like you have like a little creature that you have to like take for, it's using the same system, with the AR and stuff. So like you take your little guy for walks and you have to feed it and do all this stuff. And
it's about owning like one. It's
yeah,
not
you
about
can,
owning like dozens.
although you can, so players will raise Peridots from birth to adulthood. You can breed them with other Peridots at nests, which presumably are Pokemon stops, which, because
I mean, probably you
they
would
have
use
the,
that map data.
they overlay the same map data over everything, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, save
got
yourself
it.
some time.
You can have multiple generations of your pets, and like it uses like a genetic algorithm to like combine the traits of the two things.
All right, okay.
I say it's patterned after
Interesting.
real world DNA, but it's not actually real world DNA because that would probably take decades to
Yeah,
do that kind of computation.
inspired by.
Yes. Peridots will have traits inspired by unicorns or peacocks or rabbits or clownfish, or other less literal Peridot archetypes include concepts like glitter, jester, metallic, kinjasugi, which is the like repairing broken pottery
Oh.
with gold
Yeah.
thing.
Kintsugi,
Yeah, it's
Kintsugi.
it's the idea of art in imperfection. I think.
Yeah.
Uh,
They're cute as hell.
but I mean, it's whoa.
Hey.
That was new.
It's the
I don't think it's a.
developer concept.
I mean, I don't think it's a surprise that they're going to be adorable.
They knew that they have to be adorable, I think.
Like Niantic knows how to make
the eye's bigger.
adorable looking things. That's not a
So-
question.
They looked at a bunch of plushies and they were like, "Oh, the really adorable ones have those big sparkle eyes. We'll just put those on everything."
Yeah.
Now, I'm sure that's not like the sole...
Quickly inflate the eyes.
I'm sure not all of them probably look like that, obviously, but the ones you're going to put in your marketing all do. Yeah, it's...
So I mean, New Unit says, so this is just a digital pet. It's like yes. That like that. I don't think that's that's not like they're not pretending it's not.
But it is also a digital pet that you can interact with other people with.
And it's using and it's it's basically a taking while Pokemon Go is like doing all these things with all these Pokemon and doing all this stuff, this is like really focusing down on one Pokemon
Yeah.
and doing all the stuff specifically with that.
Sure. Yeah. Have they said stuff like release dates or what they're planning for?
That's a weird juxtaposition.
Yeah, it's got like stripes and speckles.
Look at these actual animals. Now look at this.
You can, and it's got like
horrendous thing.
AR stuff, so you can be like, I'm here with in front of these giraffes.
Yeah.
Soft launch in select markets in April. So
That means that
Australia.
I bet we'll get it
Yeah, we're
first.
probably coming to Canada.
we did not get Pokemon Go first. We did not get Pikmin Bloom first.
Oh no, we're not the soft
Uh,
market.
Could
I
be
don't
Oh.
think
Australia, New Zealand.
I think Australia and New Zealand has been for those. I don't think
Yeah.
Niantic likes Canada.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, we have a really big map, right? Like
Yeah,
maybe
but
that's the problem.
It's sparse things on the map.
That might be why they're not really into it.
We're so good at walking in Canada.
Yeah.
Apparently,
I mean, not me personally, but I think other people are.
using their light ship technology, apparently Peridots can recognize different surfaces such as dirt, sand, water, grass, foliage. So your little animal can like eat grass and like forage for
Okay.
food on the different
I mean,
things.
the AR tech, like as it's getting better, I'm sure what'll happen is it'll get to a point where it's like, okay, so we're gonna draw the thing occluded by the grass that the camera can see, so it actually looks like it's walking in the grass, and that maybe if the AR gets really good, it can actually move the grass out of the way in your camera, despite the fact that if you were to look at the thing, the grass is not moving, but it's like, no, it is actually moving in your camera.
Yeah, there's all sorts of fancy stuff they can do with that now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know,
I'm just trying to figure out the monetization. I mean, it's going to be microtransactions
I
because
mean,
all of their games have been free-to-play stuff.
Yeah, I mean, presumably it'll be like Pokemon Go, where it'll be like you can give like extra treats to your dude to make it grow faster. and all
Pikmin
that
Bloom
kind of stuff.
has a microtransaction thing as well, but it doesn't, because Pikmin Bloom is just about walking. It seems less aggressive to me than Pokemon Go, but Pokemon Go was also incredibly not aggressive when they started and got way more aggressive as time went on.
I mean, that's I guess that's the typical thing, right?
the idea so why does Niantic make this? Well, like as you said, it's their first original IP that they own, that they've been working on for a while, all
Since
these other
Ingress.
games, and so it's like, yeah, it's after Ingress, and I think Ingress to them, like, I have no idea if it's still a going thing or not, but I'm sure they look at, well, so many people play Pokemon Go, they're making a lot of money off of that, and then they make Pikmin Bloom, and it's like, wow, this whole thing with making AR games and GPS games and walking games and all that, this is kind of our bread and butter anyway, but we haven't made anything for ourselves since Ingress. And what's been really selling is, look at how cute everything is. Ingress was not a cute game. It was...
No, but the people especially the people who still play it now, are very hardcore about it.
Right, but they're very, like, it's a very hard sci-fi game, and it's like, but what really sells is cute stuff. And so maybe that's the idea here, is they're like, we have all this AR technology, we have all the stuff that we've done in terms of using maps and whatnot. Why don't we make a cute game? Because I think if we make a game that has cute characters in it, that will actually draw people into it. And maybe that's cynical, but I think it's also business,
If
right?
you want to go, you can do the cynical read this time. I'll do the positive read. Tamagotchis are great, and they're not. They need to be in more things. And somebody definitely probably played Neopets and was like, I can market stuff now. I can make my own Neopet.
Yeah. I bet you that's
gonna
probably also a reason.
That's gonna be my more positive take on it.
Some developer sitting in Niantic's like, yo, remember Neopets? Why don't we make a Could we make a Neopets? What if we just made our own Neopets with all the tech we have? We're game developers. Yeah. Damn.
All right. Well, let's see what's else is going on here. The Witcher 3. We talked about Witcher 4.
They confirmed Witcher 4 was the thing they were working on.
Yes.
So,
But
there can't be possibly anything more about Witcher 3 now.
well, so they have been publicly working on a next-gen update for Witcher 3. So, graphical refresh for Series S and PlayStation 5.
Is this like Skyrim getting ported to the toaster? Like it's like I can play Skyrim on my refrigerator now. Like, is this like Witcher 3 is going to get updated and updated till the end of time?
Well, I mean, I think, it, in the sense that it's still like a viable property for them, so they're like, let's do
keep
it.
remaking it. Yeah.
They also like it's also one of these things where like I think the PC version of Witcher 3, like I think there's already like higher resolution. Higher fidelity assets that they made for the PC version that they realized they can now use on consoles and
Okay,
stuff.
all right. So they're making a next gen update. What's new? What's going on with it?
They were. So
Again, Witcher 4 is coming, and
The
so Witcher
company-
3 just in the trash.
the company that was doing it,
Oh.
Saber Interactive, which also made which did the Witcher 3 for Switch.
Which is supposed to be quite good for what I understand.
The Switcher, you might say.
Yes.
Um,
I'm glad you said it.
yeah. Who knows what was happening behind the scenes, but apparently it didn't go well. It hasn't been going well, so they've decided to bring it in-house.
Okay.
Oh.
Who makes Witcher 3 again?
That would be
CD Projekt
CD
Red.
Projekt Red.
Do they, given how much work they have to, are they still fixing Cyberpunk? Do they have the people to do that in studio?
I think Cyberpunk is like mostly working now.
But
I
is
think-
it done?
I don't know. Until they do the next gen update for
I mean,
it,
they're working.
guess.
They're working on Witcher 4, aren't they? They have people.
They're a pretty big company. They got lots of stuff going on.
Hey, you know, they can always crunch.
Oh. Goodness.
So it was going to be coming out, you know, in order for a next gen update to be sort of time sensitive, because it is a little time, like, you don't want the next gen update for your game to be coming out like 3 years after the fancy new console comes out. Like,
Right.
you want to kind of get it going. And so they were talking about it coming out Q2 2022.
Right.
It has now been postponed until further notice.
Now,
We will update you as soon as we can. Thank you for your understanding.
somebody mentioned in chat CD Projekt. So CD Projekt is the overarching company, and CD Projekt Red is one of their companies that they own.
Right. I
And
keep forgetting that.
Red's the studio that makes games. CD Projekt is like a larger publishing arm or whatever the hell they
Okay.
are.
They also do like GOG and
Yeah. So, but somebody mentioned in chat, they're like, CD Projekt Red is a Russian studio. I thought the whole company I thought was Polish. Do I have that wrong?
I do not know.
I'm
I
sure people
could-
are going to
actually
say so in
couldn't-
chat.
I
I might even
couldn't-
just have to look online.
I honestly
Yeah.
couldn't tell you.
So, okay, a lot of people, because I was like,
Yeah, Polish.
if the reason that this is getting like it's been pulled in house and it's being delayed indefinitely, I'm like, well, I could see why
fact,
there's a lot of trouble.
I believe The Witcher is a very famous comes from a series of famous Polish books.
Right, yeah, that's why I thought they would have picked it up. Oh, Saber Interactive, the devs at Saber Interactive are the Russian studio. Oh, I wonder
good.
if that's a reason why they're pulling it back
I mean,
in-house.
maybe.
Like, ooh, that the
Interesting.
geopolitical state where they're like,
I mean,
you know
it
what,
really-
maybe we just want to have it to ourselves.
I mean, that could be a possibility, and I wouldn't doubt that maybe didn't, like, that added to it, but lots of stuff goes on in dev background space where stuff does not go well, or if people aren't able to produce what they need to under a certain time limit, stuff gets moved.
Yeah.
Like,
There's just been
Metroid Prime 4 got restarted and got moved to a different company, right? Like, stuff like that happens quite often.
It's that the Polygon article that we were looking at that talked about this doesn't say anything about, oh, well, Saber Interactive or that piece of Saber, that branch of Saber being based in Russia, like that kind of thing. None of that got mentioned in the article. And Polygon's pretty good about being like the political side of what this might mean, like why we might be seeing this. The CD Projekt didn't come out and say this is why we're doing it. But since a lot of people have been pulling their business out of Russia these days, I can see that being an influence, why they may be like, you know, maybe we don't want to be doing business with a Russian company because that's going to look bad if people are like, hey, you're doing business with a Russian company, right? Like that kind of thing. So, NME mentions it immediately in the subhead,
Interesting.
but it doesn't sound like CD Projekt Red themselves have said this is why we're doing this. They're just not doing it now.
Yeah, and again, I'm not saying that doesn't have that doesn't factor,
Yeah, it's just
but
possible.
but that there are also things that happen all the time with games, especially when you farm stuff out to studios to do upgrades and stuff. Sometimes it just doesn't work out.
Yeah.
All right. There is more info has come out about Overwatch 2, which
Wait, did that happen yet, or
Nope.
that it's still working?
it's been
That's the Dev Hell one,
it's
right?
been delayed, and yeah, the various, I think at least two,
If they've had people like leave,
I think
right?
at least two lead developers have come and gone on it
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
for a variety. This is Blizzard Activision, obviously, so a variety of reasons.
Uh huh.
Anyway, But they have announced a new character for Overwatch 2, named as Sojourn. This is significant because she is now. They previously have Farah, who was born in Canada, and her father is First Nations, her mother is Egyptian, and she grew up in Egypt.
Okay.
And they have also apparently, the scuttlebutt is that Lucio and May were both Canadian at various points in development.
Ah, interesting.
And were changed.
Okay, yeah.
But this is the first character that she's born in Canada, and she grew up in Canada, and she's like, apparently her origin was part of the Canadian Special Forces.
Do we have like a photo of what this character
And
looks
they
like?
fight in the streets of Turning Red. Because it is very...
She looks pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, she does. She is almost all robot. She is very cybernetic.
I mean that's how Canadians are.
Yeah.
We're made in factories.
We've got really good universal health care. It's just that they keep trading out our body parts for...
I think like at least half the people in Overwatch are mostly robots.
Yeah.
So there's a new trailer and stuff about for she apparently worked for, I don't know the whole story about Overwatch, about the in-game story of Overwatch, but apparently she worked for she was like part of the Canadian Special Forces and then started working for Overwatch during their big fight, and then I guess is now coming back.
Ah, okay.
So yay for a Canadian Overwatch person. She's from Toronto.
Oh.
She's not West Coast.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, she's from
the only part of Canada that matters, Toronto.
Really?
Yeah.
Can we have a...
She's from the part of Canada that nobody likes.
Can we get another Canadian, one who's from another part of Canada?
Are you sure
They're
you want
always
it?
from
It
Toronto.
barely
Are
counts.
you sure you want one from Calgary, Alberta?
I'd take
you
it over
certain?
Toronto. I would take it over Toronto.
I'm
I'm so
one.
tired of everybody
No.
from
I
being
want,
from Toronto.
I want like
Flin
a
Flon, Manitoba.
I want like a Newfie Overwatch.
Oh hell
character.
yeah!
Newfie,
Right?
That'd be great.
They control the weather.
Newfie, Kubakwa, like just
Well,
any...
they're saying Sojourn, like her name sounds pseudo French, right?
Get Rick Mercer to do the voice.
God, yeah. Oh man, that actually would be from New Brunswick. Just from New Brunswick. Like everyone always ignores New Brunswick. That Sojourn from New Brunswick can control the tides.
Give me a dinosaur from Drumheller, like Evil Batman has said. I'd take that. I don't play Overwatch. I have like no need to have any of this happen. But
We don't
Toronto?
we don't actually know what her abilities are yet. Although she's apparently going to be there's a beta that's going to be running at the end of the month or something. So
give me someone from PEI.
Just an Anne of Green Gables analog.
Why? Why?
Because the Japanese will love that. They love Anne of Green Gables. They will pick up Overwatch.
except she's like a robot. Or something.
Yeah. She's like she's
again,
kind of a Pippi Longstocking Anne of Green Gables like
Anne
analog.
of Green Gables as a robot, I feel like is probably an anime already.
I think you're right, actually. Now that you mention it, you might be correct.
There's definitely a lot of Anna Green Gables anime.
Oh my god. But yeah, she has a maple leaf on her jacket in the trailer, one thing, so it's like we're not going to go too far with it. She does attack somebody and then yell out Canadian hospitality, which I'm like, that's not a great catchphrase, so maybe that's not going to be a thing she says it often, but yeah. Anne of Green Gundams, I like that. That's good.
There is a story here that
It's developing.
is developing. We probably would have done it on CheckPoint, but it's currently developing and requires more
Probably
research
see it
than
eventually on
do.
Checkpoint.
And probably stuff will still be happening next week. So I'm sure Graham will do an in-depth dive on it. But just as to let you know that this is happening, that we know about it. That in the ongoing, speaking of Blizzard Activision, in the ongoing Blizzard Activision lawsuit, there has been some more stuff happening with the lead.
Do you guys remember the Department of Employment and or Fair Employment and Housing, the DFEH? We talked about that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the chief counsel for the Department of Fair Employment and Housing was fired.
That's a thing that the governor does.
Yeah, and then her deputy or whatever,
the assistant chief counsel,
the assistant chief counsel for the thing, resigned in protest of the firing, and wrote a very scathing letter about how the Office of the Governor of California has been interfering in this investigation, and requesting information and excessive sort of meddling in this thing, and requesting information, the kind of information that the opposing counsel would be requesting.
Yeah. It's like, what's the line you're going to take on this? What's the things you're going to argue? What are some things that you need to keep us, the governor being like, you need to keep the governor's office informed about everything that you're going to be doing, what your line, what's the line that you're going to go after, like that kind of thing. And they're like, we're not going to tell you anything because that's not really the job of the governor's office. No, it's like, no, you need to tell us. And it ramped up apparently more and more as the suit went on, that they were getting bothered more and more by the governor's office, asking for things that the opposing counsel would like to know.
And unfortunately, and I mean, this is a complicated story that involves, like, it's the sort of this weird, there seems to be this weird, like, interface between both federal and state-based government organizations who are sometimes working at cross purposes to each other, and then there's various people involved, like the governor's office and things, whose purpose is not known, and they seem to be, so there's a lot of stuff going on. And unfortunately, the thing that is kind of disturbing is that a bunch of these government agencies, the concern is that a bunch of these government bodies are stepping on each other's toes, such that it's going to disrupt the the larger thing, and diminish the overall impact to Activision Blizzard, as opposed to what they should be all working towards, which is
justice.
Is making the Activision Blizzard have to account for their various nasty things that they've done. Whether that happens at the federal level or the state level doesn't really matter to me. They just have to deal with it. But the fact that there seems to be this a lot of interference between the different government agencies is rather disturbing. And well, like I said, it's currently developed. It's currently, everything is couched in alleged situation.
Like allegations have been made. We haven't really seen responses to certain things yet.
So maybe by next week, when we have a chance to do a normal CheckPoint story about it, more will be revealed.
Yeah. Yes. What's been interesting about it is Melanie Proctor, the former assistant chief counsel, since she's now resigning, she shared her email with news companies to be like, this is why I'm resigning, and I'm laying all that out there. And she also said that she's considering filing a claim under the California Whistleblower Protection Act. And I'm like, there's a point by which just saying I'm leaving because I'm saying all this stuff happened, and I'm leaving and I'm thinking about filing a lawsuit of my own, where I'm like, my boss was a shit to me is one thing, but my boss was such a shit that I think I need to take him to court.
Well, it's not. It's my boss's boss, right?
Right. Yeah. There's that too, right? It's like my boss's boss was such a shit.
Your boss got fired.
Yeah, but right. It's like I need to take them to court.
Also, I mean, there's the concern that if she has a strong employment grievance, the organization she would be being that with would be the California Department of Fair Employment and Housing. Which could be a little awkward.
Yes, because they just lost their top two. So anyway.
Yeah.
Yes. So again, maybe this will get talked about on CheckPoint, but I do want to stress that maybe, because we brought up Graham's name a lot, because he does typically tend to do those stories, but I do not want to be the one promising what Graham will do. a week from now.
Yeah, good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm just
And
pointing
it's-
that out for you.
and-
We're all watching.
Yeah, it just depends on how a lot of the time with these kind of things the information kind of dribbles out over a long period of time, and once we sort of
And it might be a thing of like 3 weeks from now, something really big happens, and we could do something
Yeah.
about that.
There
Nemansky.
is there has been so there's been two interesting pieces of information from Hello Games. One is that they are going to be working on a brand new game
Okay.
that is unrelated to No Man's Sky.
Okay.
Okay. Sure.
Um,
Yeah. They're loud.
They're keeping it pretty close to their chest, but they say
They've learned.
it is similar to No Man's Sky. It's the kind of project that even if we had 1,000 people working on it, it would still seem impossible.
Which is an interesting thing to say, because if you had 1,000 people working on a single project, it just becomes impossible.
So they haven't. It's going to be they haven't actually said whether it's going to be like a totally new IP or whether it's just still somebody else's IP or what. But it is not No Man's Sky. So, but the other part of this is that there has been yet another big update to No Man's Sky, the game that keeps giving, I guess, called the Outlaw Update, which adds. I love this list of things it adds, all the cool outlaw things it adds, like outlaw space stations, outlaw stories, smuggling, recruit wingmen, planetary frigates, improve space combat, forge passports, bounty missions, cloth simulation.
Yeah, that's good.
Are known outlaws known for their extremely well simulated cloth.
Their long coats that need to be...
You got to have
right?
the long duster.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're like, look, we can't put out the outlaw game until we can get people wearing cool long coats.
And not just pirate raids,
Wait.
but planetary pirate
No.
raids. Yeah.
Are they just stealth making a Firefly game?
Oh, hell yes. Oh, wow.
I mean,
thought about that?
I have thought about that.
yeah.
Everyone's saying Captain Harlock in chat.
I
It's
mean,
like, yes,
he
that's
gets
fair,
flowy,
but...
flowy cape stuff
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. They need to allow make sure the pirate flags can flap appropriately.
I'm just saying, they took on an awful lot of smuggling jobs.
I would want to hope that you have an option to be like, hey, I'm not playing the pirate game. There's a flag on my base that says I'm not playing this pirate game, and you're like, oh, we can't go do the thing because they're not playing the pirate game, so we have to go somewhere else. And because if I was building stuff and exploring and doing whatever, the last thing I want in a game like that is to have somebody come along and ruin my shit. I used to play SimCity with all the disasters off, so...
I think No Man's Sky is set up so that people can't mess with your stuff if you don't want them to.
That would be lovely. This just really seems like because of like pirate raids and stuff. I'm like, oh.
I thought No Man's Sky was a one-player.
You would think that it is not
experience. I didn't think
for
it was
what
multiplayer.
it was one player for a long time, and then it became multiplayer.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
I missed that. I missed that memo.
It's sort of a weird sort of hybrid multiplayer thing. But you can turn that off.
They had definitely talked about the idea of you might never see another person
Yeah,
for as long as you play.
That was when they first launched,
Yeah.
and then
that changed.
that changed. People ran into
But then,
other people or something.
but then there's a lot of like AI people running around too, though.
Okay.
So I don't know if there's going to be like AI pirates, but Made in Abyss is going to be an RPG that you can play.
Oh Jesus. I mean, not that I'm gonna play.
I sent this to Adam on Twitter. I don't know if it'd be his kind of game.
It's Spike Chunsoft, and they have done some stuff, right? I mean, they're also very used to dealing in despair.
Well, it's the so my take on this was it's got two modes.
Yeah.
I don't think the
There's
Despair guys are there anymore. I thought they moved to made a new studio.
the first one mode is called Hello Abyss, which allows you to have your soul crushed all over again by playing as Rico and following the story of the anime.
Great.
Yeah, so if you've already seen the anime and you're
Or-
like, no.
Or if you want to have your soul crushed in an all new way, you can do the Deep in Abyss mode, which allows you to experience a whole new story using your own character, so that you can experience adorable children suffering
it's a
in a
story-
totally new way.
It's a story from the mangaka as well, is my
Yeah.
understanding.
Oh,
It is.
neat.
It's a new story from there so you can design a character to have the maximum amount of
I'm
suffering.
pointing out because if anybody knows anything about the Abyss series, there's some questionable things in that. Some very questionable things in that don't need to be in the original manga that they kind of took out of the anime a little bit.
And yeah, I mean, I don't know.
It has it's hard to recommend
Yeah.
ever
Yeah.
for so many different reasons, not just Despair ones.
It's called Made in Abyss, Binary Star Falling into Darkness.
Yeah, I am curious about. I don't want to play this game myself personally because I already know bad things happen and I can't do that when I already know what the bad things are.
Mm-hmm.
But I am curious about what the storyline is in the other mode because you customize your own character, right? And it's a little bit different from, say, I'm playing a character to I'm going to customize my own character and then feel this is potentially.
I feel like I'll be happy maybe watching a YouTube recap.
Oh
of
no,
it.
I just want to read a synopsis. I don't even want to watch that.
Says Spike Chunsoft has also provided information around the Curse of the Abyss mechanic, which is the thing where, much like the original story, returning to the surface after a significant depth in the abyss will affect your character in ways both physical and mental. And you also need to consider the number of items in your possession, as all crafting items will count towards your weight limit.
So is this like it's gonna be Darkest Dungeon?
You're gonna have to
For
have
Adam?
mental damage. Yeah, mental damage.
Like I know Darkest Dungeon 2
Yeah.
is a thing, and I think he was even streaming that today, maybe even now. But the idea of going down into a thing and having those, what was it? They're different illness effects that happen to you in Darkest Dungeon.
Oh, right, yeah.
Because it's
Yeah, the weird the psychosis things
yeah,
or
because
whatever.
it's a horror genre that I've completely forgotten the name of, but with Cthulhu type
Yeah,
monsters and
Lovecraftian
stuff.
horror, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, so your characters gradually sort of go insane and
Eldritch horror.
Eldritch.
pick up different weird quirks,
So I kind of assume it might be a little like that, mechanically.
stresses that they pick up, afflictions. And then finally, here's something I actually don't know that much about, but I'm assuming other people do, like other people in this room. Because the former Nintendo HQ has been turned into a hotel, which is open to the public.
Yeah.
That's how hotels generally work.
This is the...
Yeah, a hotel not open to the public would be not a very useful
That would be
hotel.
really suspicious.
This isn't the big white cube either, right? This is the small card printing facility.
Yeah. The big white cube still stands. In fact, they bought land across the street from themselves so that they can make a bigger, whiter cube.
Bigger, whiter cuber.
Do they need to make it bigger in order to make it whiter?
I think it's bigger based on the image I saw. It's like a R&D thing that they're building.
But yeah, this is a smaller building that has been renovated into a hotel, and they bought another building or built another building or whatever that is an annex to this, so they could have more rooms to sleep in. Because did you see how much it costs to stay there for a night?
No.
$700.
Ooh.
That's pretty expensive.
Mm-hmm.
I like that there's I'll show you. There's like images, stuff. It's not like it's like a Nintendo theme hotel or anything. It's just
No.
like a nice hotel.
It's
Yeah.
just it's a place that bought the space and then put a hotel on it.
But then also said, we recognize the significance
Oh,
of this building.
Check out the planter there.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
got the N64. And
Oh, cute.
Yeah.
They knew that they're like, we know this is an important building. We know it's there's a reason for it to be. I guess it's just open a new tab.
Oh.
Yeah, that might be what happened there.
Oh, wrong mouse.
Okay.
Wait, no.
no, you
That
have
was
to
the
write.
right mouse.
Why?
Yeah, we'll fix that.
Oh, there we go.
But so it's like we recognize the history and we know that people will want to come visit this place. So if we make it a hotel, we make a nice bar, and we put some like we make it a very like upscale feeling place that will be reason enough for people with lots of money to want to come stay here. There aren't a lot of rooms in the building, in the front of the hotel, like in that building themselves. There aren't a lot of rooms there, which is why they had to open the annex. So you might be able to stay in one of the few rooms that's in the actual building, but you might end up also in the annex to stay there instead.
Let's be fair. None of us are going there.
No. I didn't even go see this building when we were in Kyoto. Like I wanted to find this building, but at the same time I was like,
Did we not? Oh no,
there-
we
we
went-
found the white cube.
We did the
Because
headquarters one.
there's none of the things that Nintendo has made that you were actually interested in were developed in this building, right? Like this
Probably
was
not.
Oh, yeah.
this was like the card.
Yeah.
It's like they didn't
Yeah.
do any electronic stuff. in this
Basically,
building.
leading into the 1970s, I think, is when they were there, and they still owned the building. But I think, by and large, by the time they had pivoted to being a much larger company, doing like arcade games and stuff, they had moved into their larger building.
Right.
Yeah,
at
and
that
you,
point,
you
so-
you can't actually enter their place of business because it is a place of business. It is not a tourist attraction,
Yeah.
which is why we stood outside it and took a picture of the sign.
Yeah.
Like everybody else.
What's funny too is when we were there were black cars. There was a black car leaving it at one point, and I was kind of like, that might be somebody important who works there. That,
Or
for
it
all
might
we know,
be.
that could have been Iwata in that car leaving for the day to go
I
do
don't
something
think
else,
he-
right?
Probably not, but it
Probably
could
not.
be.
It could have been, right? Like, it's like, you just see this car, and it wasn't like a limousine. It was just like, like a Lincoln Town Car style of thing. It was just a big black car, probably more like a Toyota Crown. Like.
Anyway,
Any car with the blacked
was-
out windows
I was gonna
could
say-
have Iwata in it.
Exactly, it could have been Miyamoto, right?
Part of the reason this article got made was somebody made a video about going into the hotel. So you also don't have to spend $700 a night. You could just probably watch a video, or
Yeah.
there's going to be definitely a couple of vloggers and people who make content about video games. I imagine if they get to go, will do a couple of things.
Like they've opened a bar there, so I assume that you can, like most hotel bars tend to be public, so I assume you could actually just go inside and go to the bar and get a drink and then be on your way if you wanted to. That kind of thing. But,
Also, they can't make a Mario hotel, right? Like, they'd have to make a Luigi hotel.
yeah, like a big Luigi mansion.
Yeah.
Because if they made Hotel Mario, people would just like meme that
Well,
shit all day.
Luigi's Mansion 3 happens in a hotel.
Ah, okay, that's good too. Well,
Also, Mario was missing in the Mario Hotel game, wasn't he?
no, Hotel Mario is a CDI game, I think, and it was terrible. So they'll have to make a. I like this. Yes, Invitare has the idea to make a Waluigi hotel, and then have no idea what's going on in it.
Yeah, fair enough.
A Waluigi
Just tennis
hotel.
courts.
It would be just like, I mean, that would be that they could actually like they would actually have a really solid reasoning behind having like tons of like terrible microtransactions everywhere.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like you want to use you want to use the toilet. Oh, that'd be $1.
Extra quarter if you want to use the washlet.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like Wario Motel. More like Wario Motor Inn. Super 8 Wario. Like that.
Yeah.
that-
yeah,
It would
I
be
can
like
see
the
it.
budget brand.
Yeah, Wario Lodge.
Oh yeah, Wario Lodge would be great. So that's all the stories that I thought were interesting enough to do on a potential checkpoint that didn't actually happen. I'm sure there's lots of other things that are going on in the world of video games, but those are the ones that I thought were kind of funny.
Did we have anything else happen that we put in that we had in the channel where we're like, oh, this is also a story? I don't think we did.
Generally when we do, they're very serious, awful things.
Oh, that's
So it's
fair.
like, hey, did you see the awful thing that happened?
Look
And
at
we're
this
like,
bullshit.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So hey, did you manage to eat any of your banana bread? Were these any of these happy stories?
They were, but I also just generally don't eat it on stream because I know that bugs people,
That's
and I
fair.
don't feel comfortable. So I'm gonna be
We-
doing
we-
this the entire
I mean,
time.
we could,
I'll do it as a bit.
yeah.
But
We were talking about Made in Abyss.
Yeah.
yeah,
That's the most
banana
happy
Just
bread.
start
story.
stress eating at that point.
Like I played spare games from Spike Sean Soft, and I'm still not playing that one.
Nudie Nudes mentions Wario's camper van lot. I'm like, no. If they're going to do RV, they're going to do Harvey's RV. That's what you would do as a camping lot. You would do a whole Animal Crossing.
Yeah, unfortunately, Animal Crossing would be the bigger brand.
That would
for
be way better as a camp. I would go to an Animal Crossing campground in a heartbeat.
You would.
Are you kidding me? If they got together with KOA and like did that as like themed things throughout, oh god, that'd be amazing.
They'd be like, here's the plot where you can park your camper. You now owe me $200.
I mean, the guy walks up to Tom Nook's and he's like, "You owe me, 20,000 bells." It's like, how much is that? It's like, it's $20,000.
I do not like camping. I am not excited for any of these ideas.
I love camping.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we are incompatible people.
Yeah, we'll get a little motorhome. We'll rent a motorhome and we'll go do some camping.
Oh, maybe.
See, when
Okay.
you can stay in a hard-sided.
Should we get one of the cute ones? That looks like a
Define-
sardine can.
You want
Oh, like
a,
an Airstream?
Wait, hang on. You want to stay in an Airstream?
I don't know what that is.
It's a big, long silver. With
No,
a rounded...
I'm talking the one
that
that
looks
looks
like a
like
Twinkie?
like a hand can.
You mean a teardrop trailer?
Yeah,
Oh God, yeah.
those are cute.
I mean, yeah. They're not big. You can fit a queen size bed in them, and that's about it. Like,
Trust me, I'm just gonna be sleeping in it.
fair enough. Whatever.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
I don't need chairs. I've got a bed.
All
Good
right.
enough.
All right. All right. They
Anyway,
are kind of like Airstreams. As Doodle says, this is fair. Yeah.
let's talk about what's coming up.
Anything special?
Oh, yes, there is. So,
Oh,
No
no
Friday night.
something on Saturday.
no Friday night paper night. No Friday night paper fight tonight because it's the Streets of New Capenna pre-release coming out tomorrow at 11 o'clock until late because it's going to be a long pre-release. We're up to our full run of 8 players like we
Nice.
haven't done in a very long time. We got Marshall and Kenji here as special guests. It's going to be super fun. You may have seen Kenji on LRMTG yesterday, in fact.
Yeah.
It's going to be great. That's going to be happening all tomorrow. And then on Sunday, it's Rhythm Cafe, where you're playing
Intralism?
Intralism.
Is that what that looks like? I don't know.
Ian,
what
take
that
this
is.
one.
I have
Yeah,
no
it is.
idea what this game is.
All right.
Cool. Well,
But,
chat, you and Heather will find out what the game is together.
Don't worry. I'm very sure Ian doesn't know what this game is either.
Hopefully it's a rhythm game.
And hopefully it's easy to install.
Don't make fun of us for installing so late last time.
And then why does it do that? Is this your card? Where he's gonna be playing more of Teamfight Tactics, where apparently I think he said he had some sort of hippo or something that he was playing that was very strange.
I don't ask Wheeler about his hippos, so yeah. All right.
And then it is the Can't Draw Horses Club on Monday, where Corey and friends will be doing some sort of thing involving drawing or modeling or
Last week it was ears.
some sort of art.
So, who knows? It could be another body part. It could be a horse.
Oh right,
or
it's not a hippo. It's a pig,
Ah,
a sparkly pig.
okay.
Yeah, pigs are aspiring to be hippos.
And then Monday evening it is the Jackbox, running back that old Jackbox party pack. Always a fun time. And then on Tuesday we continue with Mine O'Clock, where they're doing the Ocean Block
Going
thing.
back to Ocean Block, huh?
Followed by Disco Elysium on Talking Sim. Followed by Bloodborne on Let's Nope. So, lots of cool
A
stuff
very full week.
coming up. loadingrerun.com/live is the place to go see the full schedule. And now we should thank the people who subscribed during this stream.
Do you want to say I'm starting Play It Forward next Friday?
Yes.
And that's just because
It's going to be like Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
I'm playing Kirby and the Forgotten Lands, and
It'll be dense with
and
Kirby.
it's going to be
the
very
weekend.
dense. And the reason it's not like starting after the directly after the PPR is I have to put a PPR VOD up, and that takes a while.
Yeah.
And I'm not. You just reminded me of how long they could be, and I was like, oh right, this will be longer. The last one was actually quite long for 6 people. So.
But yeah, the that should be you're doing Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
I'm doing Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. with the 22nd, the weekend of the 22nd, and then potentially the weekend after. I told James I needed 6 streams, but I don't know if the game's actually that long.
So it'll be after we've had a couple of quite long ones lately, so it'll be a good little palate cleanser.
So everyone wants to like fight for the crown of longest piff, which is not true, but it's like the conversation that comes up when an exceedingly long piff happens, and the Elden Ring one is now the longest with 23 episodes.
Thank God.
But what I look at is all of the time that gets used up for work that I have to get done when I do things like that, and I then play shorter games. Because as much as I love streaming, and I do, I don't want to spend 2 months playing the same game condensely packed like that.
That would be a bit of a mouthful.
It would be. Good job. For getting there before him.
Let's thank all the awesome people who subscribed during this stream. Starting with Magical Attack Gecko for 100 months.
Woo!
Yay!
And Mola Molifant, who, for 43 months, who commented on the washlet that you could use. Washlet.
The Merricat for 67 months. Welcome back.
100 Abraham Lincolns for 90 months.
Sasquatchuan. What an unusual way to spell that. I
that's
like
great.
that. I like that.
That's good.
Sasquatchuan for 40 odd months.
Ooh, the controversial take, Mordor is bad. For
Matthias.
33 months.
Oh, Point Checker gifted by anonymous sub, just adding in at the bottom there.
And bits?
Pharaohbender sneaking in with those 300 bits. Thank you very much for the support from everybody.
We hope that you enjoyed this on the YouTubes as well. Leave a comment if you watched this on the YouTubes. It'd be nice to see that also.
Yeah. I read all those comments.
And you can see everything else that we do through patreon.com/loadingreadyrun. Or rather, no, you can support us in another fashion through patreon.com/loadingreadyrun. We also have merchandise on the store.loadingreadyrun.com. You should definitely go see what we have there, and then maybe, wait till the end of the month and make plans to spend money.
Also, if you buy the portable hole CheckPoint, tweet us with a picture of your
New portable hole, yeah.
of your CheckPoint mug. I've been seeing them because I do a
Vanity
Twitter search for Loading Ready Run, and so I see all the stuff when people post about the merch, and I think they're fun.
Yeah.
So that's just for me.
Nice. All right. Thanks everybody for watching. We will talk to all y'all later. Bye.